Hello. Welcome to SvelteWeekend. I guess it's been a while since the last time we have a Svelte Weekend. Let me check the mic volume. I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. It's been a while. Yeah, since last week I wasn't around, so I did not have any Svelte Weekend. And actually, I just prepared something that I dragged for quite a while. Basically, if you look at the screen right now, I've went and add all of the menu items one by one, look through, copy manually, um, finding the right icon, and then add the content and the wording. Although all of them is not working right now, I do record the process um, for that, but it's quite boring. Basically, it's just typing and typing. But that will be up. In the spirit of just have everything that I've working, all the everything that sorry should be in the spirit of having every moment of working on this project to be recorded and to be available online. So that is recorded, but I haven't um, uploaded yet. So just assume that that will be there, and we will be having that. So today, what we are going to do is we have our menu bar now, right? So the next thing is we will have this. I'm not even sure what is it called, but I'm gonna have this bar action bar right below, as well as the formula bar. And then now and then so this formula bar is useful because let me zoom in a bit. This formula this formula bar is useful because you can see what formula you key in. So it's a slightly different display of what you would have than like this one, right? So of course, first is that whenever you change, it should show the current selected cells form content, and then it should show the formula, rather the raw text that you type in, rather than the normal value. So I guess that's a quick overview of what we're gonna do, and so let's go coding. Yay. Uh okay, so anyway, so the first thing is we're gonna have another row. We call it a let's see. We call it an action bar. Action bar. Oops. I think it- this action bar will be all these icons. Okay. Icon. So just not to be bore you, I probably will just add maybe a few, like 3 or 4 icons, and then I will be adding them later on after the stream, right? Because I think that's just like a lot of manual work. Um, anyway, let me quickly copy that. Let me find some menu. I think we have some icons here, right? This is the redo and undo. So I think similar as how we did with our menu. Hold on, let me type that out first. Because I'm uh like my hand and my head is like separate. Now anyway, let me align. Okay. So before I type anything, I think the first thing is the action bar and menu bar. I think like in terms of the code structure would be probably sort of like similar. You have this component that tries to display the action bar, and then you have maybe a file called actions that returns a list of oops, should be TypeScript file. It returns a list of maybe call it export cons actions equals return a list of actions. Now, of course, each actions you will probably have maybe like the icons and action, and then the maybe when you hover you have some title, right? So we call it the title, icon, and action. And in the same spirit, right now we just working on the UI, laying out the contents, but not haven't really we haven't implemented each of the features, the way the actions yet. So we will have a function called not implemented, just as a placeholder function that what happened when you click on the icon, the icon, right? So here this is the function, and then for this one, let me find. We copy some of this icon over, and we have okay. Now we have two icons, and now we're gonna import our action bar into our wait, where is it? Page, right here. Action bar. Hold on. I think it should be part of the top bar. Top bar. Top bar. So top bar is where you have a menu bar as well as the action bar. Action bar. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have. Let me refresh this. Hey, what? Where's my action bar? Am I running? Seems like it's running. Oh, okay. In my action bar, now I have to import the. Of course, I have to import all the actions. Import actions. And then I'm gonna loop through the actions. Each action as action. Let me zoom it up a bit so that it's clearer. Action. And then we have, so in each item, what we have is a title, icon, and action, right? Title, action, icon. The most important is the icon. So I'm gonna use image, source icon. And then alt is the title. So you have something like this, right? With undo and redo. And because we need to lay out it nicely, right? So here we have one row, white background, and then a line, and then now action bar should have the same kind of feel as well. So, whoops, style. And so I see a lot of people are commenting. Hello, hi there. Hello, Script Raccoon. I see you have been more diligent to upload your videos than me. I've been a bit slowing down here, but you do a good job. I should, I think I should share with others like your uh, channel as well. Wait, Script Raccoon. Guys, please follow Script Raccoon. He's been doing a lot of great uh, been doing a lot of great Svelte content. If you understand German, which I don't, um, hopefully I get it correctly, right? I guess that's German. Then check his you should check his channel, right? There's a lot of interesting um, examples. Although like I don't understand the language, but when I watch, I still kind of watch them and realize, oh, and also there's a lot of the code is all in GitHub, so I check them out. It's really cool. Should check them out. Um, Also, hi, Brad. I think a lot of people is here. So hello, hello. Okay. Let me close this and Yeah. So let me get back to where we were. Anyway, so here we have this basic action bar. Now maybe I just style it. Maybe like a background again is white. Um, have some padding on the top and the bottom, right? So a little bit of space. You see when you hover on the icon, let me zoom it in. You see when you hover on the icon, if you see clearly, there's like a gap on top and the bottom, right? So I'm guessing the one that you hover is maybe your like your icon, right? The image script, image tag element. Then a bit on top and the bottom is the padding or the margin of the image, right? So it could be the margin, could be a padding, but if it's margin, then the divider and everything else will have to have like somewhat like a same margin in order to kind of having the same head space and the space below. Or you can add padding to the container. So right, imagine this whole rectangle is the container. You have some padding, and the content is just right inside um, the action bar. Right. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add some padding. What number? I don't know. I'm just gonna throw in some magic number, say maybe 4 pixels, and see whether it looks good. Um, you can't really tell here, right? Because you don't know what's the edge of the image, but of course it's much better than it was, where it's like so close up. I think we can add. I think visually you'll feel that. Oops. Visually you'll feel that. I think the left side has more space. I mean the. I think in this case, let's take a look at what's the padding or margin padding for the menu. We're using 8 pixels on the left. Right? So to just to align, we also have maybe 8 pixels on the side and then 4 on the top and bottom. So this is what we have. And then for the image, just for now, we're gonna when we hover, maybe you get some background color. DDD. So here, when you hover, you see some color changes, right? I think we should align this some color now. So slowly we see some sort of like color that should be the same color throughout the application, right? Because we kind of like building this bottom up. We're like building one element by element. We weren't really thinking about like the whole design theme or the pattern or like some what's that design language of this whole UI, because we kind of like building from bottom up as and at the same time we also like kind of we're just like following whatever the Google shit looks like. But if you work with a slightly bigger company or with designers, when you work with designers, usually they will come out with a few colors, like the color, like theme colors, right? And in this case, I think that this hover color could be one of them, right? This light gray, whenever you hover, should probably be consistent throughout your application. So here I'm gonna define some of those colors and then use them color throughout my application. Right. So there's multiple ways of doing that. You can maybe say, have a file, define all the colors, and then figure a way to apply it to your CSS, or maybe define it if you're using some preprocessors like SAS or um, SAS or SCSS. What you could do is that you can define a SAS variable. Then when you compile, because this is a preprocessor, meaning it will process that code, the SAS code that you have into CSS, right? So maybe you can define some variables over there where so that when you transform, it will write those value out as your in the final CSS. Yeah, that is one way. And actually, recently it's not quite recent. It's been a few years. In CSS, there's this feature called CSS custom property. So, like normal properties are like background is a property, padding is a property, but you can have custom property, right? So here we're gonna define some custom property in um, in our application, and we're going to use it throughout all the places that uh, so that we can use it through our application. And this custom property works like normal properties, meaning if this property is can be inherited. For example, I think background you can't inherit, but so what I mean by inherit is that if you have background color white in this parent element, then the children element background is automatically white if it can inherit, right? But I'm not sure whether I don't think background you will inherit. But if you have things like font size, for example, a parent define font size as 22, then your children is automatically inherits that value and has the font size of 22 pixels. So custom property works that way as well. Custom property can be inherit, so which means also you can inherit, you can cascade, you can do whatever it is like the um, whatever you like as like a normal CSS property. Um, eh, yeah, you are right. Why do we have this yellowish background in the top bar? Well, it was there to show that this is the top bar, but you're right. We don't have to have that, and then we don't have to. I mean, if the base color is white, then everything on top of it is white. Then we don't have to color it. I guess you're right. Maybe let's remove that. Let me find. Um, it is on the top bar. We style it here. So everything is white now. I think let's go to the menu bar and also remove this white color. Yep. And so now, as I said, we can define it as a custom properties. So now let me define it. So you can inherit, right? Then where should you define it? I mean, you can define it in the menu bar. Then all the elements, all the elements within the menu bar can access that variable. But if you define it in the root elements, then all the elements within the under the root, which is all elements, right? Because root is the topmost element, right? Every element will be able to access that variables. So here, what I'm going to do is going to define on a root level. So here, let me find my, so I'm going to add it in global CSS file. So here, I'm going to define it on a root element and define one color. Maybe let me find the color value, right? So menu hover. Okay, I think it's this color. Okay, so here I'm going to define a variable called, maybe I'm going to call it hover color for now. So now I can use this variable inside here, replace it and to reference it, I'm going to use var to reference a custom property. Okay, so now nothing has changed. Okay, nothing has changed. And now I can also use it in my action bar like this. And now you can, I mean, now this color is consistent and I can come over um, and change to a different color and it will be applied everywhere. Okay, this is not yet, so I need to change this part as well. Drop down, hover color. And you see this will be applied everywhere. Now it's consistent and you can change it in one place and it will apply it everywhere. So this is custom property. So anyway, we have our action bar now. I think next thing is let's add another component called the formula bar. All right, so formula bar. So here in our formula bar, what we have is a drop down like this, right? An input box and maybe like a kind of like a drop down UI and then maybe FX, I don't know, and then like and text. Right. So here I'm gonna create a div first. So the first thing is a Okay, this is the text input, so we're going to call it inputs. And then a drop down. Right now I'm going to make it a div first. I think I can find a drop down icon. Let me find the drop down icon. So I created this temporary page to list out all the icons there is um, in the icon set that we install. So here I can quickly search and see how it looks like and figure out the name. Right. So for example, carrot down fill. This is what we need. So here I'm going to import this. SVG. Let's see, how do I Fluent UI. Oops. Icons from alright. Just copy this as is. Okay, and then we have a div again, and then a input. And so this div is the, let's see, have the FX. I think this is also like icon. Let me check. Formula. Right, this is like this. This is also like a, I'm going to use the field version. This is also an icon. Copy this. Let's see what we have right now. Okay, no, I haven't add this formula bar on into my view. Let's see here. Import the formula bar. Okay, seems like everything is in place. Hold on, this is except the layout is a bit off, so let's fix that. I think we can use a span for this instead. It's a bit raining right now. Let me close the window. Let's see. Now actually, we have quite a big gap over here, right? From the formula to the sheet itself. So this is actually controlled by a grid layout, right? We have a grid. If you're watching this the first time, the I think the first live stream that we have, you kind of lay this out as a grid. We have a header, a main, and a footer, right? And then here you can see that this is a grid which has the rows of like 150 pixels, one fraction null unit, 50 pixels. I think the header we don't have to fix it. I don't think we need to fix the height. Oh no, sorry. We need to, I think we make it auto, right? Just auto size it based on its content height. So here we have, so of course I need to change this. Let me find out where this is. Should be in the page. Is it? Yeah. Here, I may change it to auto. Right. So now it's much better. Of course, this inside this here, we can also lay out with grid or with flex. It's really up to us. I think we can try using flex since it's just one directional. So here, let me find where's our formula bar. Okay, our div will be display flex and align item center. Yeah, center line. And then of course this one will should take up all the space. So this is the, I'm gonna add a class for this. This is the formula. So So for the formula class, we are gonna have a flex of 1. So it stretches all the way. Okay. Now now of course we need this looks more stylish than what we have, right? So of course we will have to figure out how do we style it. First is that there's a border um from the current row with the action bar. So the menu bar we actually add a border bottom, and I think action bar should also add a border. So this is the border. Let me show it to you. So this first line that you see, the first line that you see, I mean you accidentally see the layout problem that we have, but we're gonna fix that later. So the first thing that you see is that this line here is the bottom border, right? So here the action bar, I think we're gonna add a bottom border as well, border bottom. Okay, and then so this one now does not need to have any border, or maybe a border right underneath. So for formula bar as well, I'm gonna add. Okay, looks like this. I mean, immediately, of course, you realize that the one that you see on the sheet, the the border color, um, it's first it's consistent everywhere, and secondly, of course, the main point I want to say is that the border color is light gray. So um, and ours is black. That's why it's a bit ugly. So let's find another variable called border color. And for now, I feel like maybe it's the same color as a hover color. Um, let's go back to here, and then we're gonna use this variable throughout. Okay, so this is the hold on. This is the border color. Save this. Add this border color over here, and then for the menu bar, we are also going to add a border color like this. Little lights, right? Right, let's darken it up. Maybe 333. No, this is too dark. Maybe DDD. I guess darker. AAA. Yup. I think B is the right color right there, roughly there. Of course, one way if you want to match it exactly, one thing you could do is that, whoops, sorry. One thing you could do is to open up DevTools and then hover and then find the color. No, this is not here, right? This is the border color. Is DADCE0. Let's just steal that color. Save us some time. Yep. I mean, my eyes are not that great. I can't tell the difference. But we have it here now. Now, of course, after this two, we also have to come back, and then here, you will notice that it doesn't feel like there's a border for this input. So what we need here is that for the formula bar, for the inputs, there isn't really a border. Okay, right? If it's border, you can clearly see that if it's a border, then this should be connected and like part of the border, but it's not. So the border, there's no border. So this is something drawn separately. So we're gonna remove the border for the input. Border. As now, yeah, now there's no border, right? It looks closer to this now. I mean, trust me, it looks closer to that. Now, in between FX, we need some line. You need to draw some two vertical lines. So here you can maybe add a class to this one. See, let's try adding it as a border, right? So here I'm going to call it fx. Border left, 1 pixel solid var border color, as well as the border right. And let's see. This connects all the way up. So probably we'll have to and if you look closer, this kind of overshoots it. So there's another way you could do is that I was thinking that maybe we can add some margin, top and bottom. So we're gonna say maybe 4 pixels and 0. So this is top and bottom. So make it like this. But you add it as a margin, then of course this whole thing is flush and pushed down. But if I look over here closely, I feel like this line, if you draw and extrapolate and connect two lines together, you'll see that the fx is actually overflowing. So this is more like a divider. Is the divider itself is less, not the um uh not the fx itself. So probably it's a separate elements that creates that line. So I guess here I'm gonna call it span class divider, and I'm gonna copy this two over here. So we have two divider, and in divider itself will have what am I doing? Hold on. Divider itself will have a width of 1 pixel, and then the background, use the background color as like fake border. Let's see whether it works. Hold on. I think block. It's not working. Hold on. Let's see. Display block. Okay. I think the height, it needs a height. Hold on. Why are you not showing divider? Width is 1, height is 0. Oh, so 100% is not working. Because I am in this line items. No. Now I'm baffled. I need some help now. Let's see. Height. It's so I know that if it's display block, then you can't. Hold on. Style. Yep. Okay, so by default, you don't have any width and height for span. Wait, and then if you add display block, did you need content? No, not really. What I was doing, this set a custom height. Set a custom height. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is the way. Apparently, it can't go for 100%. So I guess we make it a fixed height instead. Oh, I just thought the height should be the parent height, but it is not. Okay, so here we got fixed height. In that case, I might not even need margin. Okay, I think we're just gonna use a fixed height for now. Eh, hello. Uh, let's see. This is for like this, and then I believe you. This is 20 pixel. I wonder, will it be better if this is the diff, and then we use some sort of 100%? Still not working. Okay, I'm not really, not really understand. I don't really understand how the. Hey, hold on. This should be inline block. Oh no, because it's reflex. It doesn't really matter. Um. Okay. Yep. So margin, width, height, background color. Okay, I think we have it. Have everything. It looks like it looks working now. So of course, the side, maybe you should give some space as well. Maybe 2 pixel on the side, left and right for each divider. Is it too much or too little? Um, I think it's okay. I think it should be the FX itself that creates some sort of margin if it wants. So FX margin 4 pixel. Okay, now we have. Okay, I think now we roughly have the style done. So I think let's focus back to the UI itself, to the logic itself. So first is this should display which cell is being selected right now. And where do we store this value right now? Um, and let me find it. So it should be in the switch component. This is where we set the active cell, right? This is the active cell, which is here, a variable, active cell. So this is within um, the switch component, which is this switch, this sheet, right? This table itself. So but then like the formula bar, it's somewhere. It's siblings children component, right? Because the switch, if you look at here, the layout, we have the switch and the top bar, and then the formula bar is actually the children of top bar. So if you're good in English, I think this is your nephew or niece, right? I mean, the action bar is the nephew or niece of the switch component. So of course, now how do we pass this data around? There's multiple ways of doing it, right? You could um, make it a content. You can make it a star and a separate file, and then you both the top bar and the switch component both imports this star and then access it. So since they are accessing the same instance, then it should be the same variable, same value. When you change, you can always subscribe to the changes. That would work. Or um, or instead of having putting the star in a separate file, we can put it also maybe on the current page, right? This page is like the parent, right, of all the different components. Maybe we can define the something like the sweet uh, data over here on top, and then we pass it down to the and then we set it up as a context and pass it down to all the inner children or grandchildren. Right? Having it as a context means the data is here rather than having a separate file. In most cases, if you're just building a client-side application, this unless you have uh, unless you have multiple switch instances that could be under different pages, then you might not want them to um, you might not want them to share the same store instance, then maybe this should be part of the context, because if you are under different pages, then they are within different contexts, then you are subscribing to a different store, right? So um, I think I had a video about that on context versus store, and sorry, I think I should type svelte, um, right? Store versus context, and it tells you when you should choose a store versus a context, um, and or both, right? This is and or both. It's a 2 by 2 matrix, right? So you can have a store without a store, context not a context. And today I think I want it to be part of a context, to uh define it within this page, um so um so that it's not a I don't define the store as a separate file, but as part of the context of the page. um there's In our case, this I think in most of cases this um sorry, let me rephrase my word. I think the reason I want to try to do that is that I want to have a centralized place to have all of the things, all of the information together, and I feel that maybe the page component itself should have that responsibility right now, and then to define all the information from the start, and then pass it down to all its children. And also, if you are because SvelteKit can server side rendering as well, and if you have server side rendering, your store should be coming from a context rather from a separate file. I have explained in one of my other videos about singletons, and because your one server is serving all the different requests coming from from different people, then if you are importing from just one store, then you are actually serving the data from one store for all the users, which may not be what you want. So I think again, I mean, there's all the reasons, but shit, why am I brain freeze? But but I um but I think I just want to choose. I just want to have it in as a part of a context, as a stock, and then pass it down to all the children, right? You can try different ways, and then you can tell me how this feel and things like that, right? So, I'm gonna create a context and then have a star. So first thing to create a context is to set a context here. Hold on, let me import set context. Let me take a sip. Oh, sorry. Let me stretch a bit. So in the meantime, while in the meantime while I'm stretching, oh, sorry, I have something to share, which is if you are trying to look for if you learn Svelte and you want to look for jobs for Svelte, you know there's a website called Svelte Jobs that do um, that listed all the jobs, not all the jobs, but listed jobs specifically for Svelte. Wait, is this down? No, I think the link is wrong. Okay, Svelte jobs, right? You may not. So here you may notice that all the different companies, and one of the one that I really find it most interesting is that If you, I don't know how many of you still believe in like Fang companies. Oh no, I don't think it's called Fang now because it's not Facebook, it's Meta. Maybe like manga or something. Um, well, Apple, which is I think still part of the Fang companies, um, is hiring for Svelte. I mean, I find it interesting that they are using Svelte as well. Um, yeah, just if you're looking for any jobs for Svelte, look out Svelte jobs. And you notice that of course this link contains some UTM source. Um, I mean, we are web developers. We should know what they are. They are like tracking for tracking purposes. Well, this is the thing, right? So I think like I met the people behind Svelte jobs, and I realized that, and they want to promote this to all the communities, and they don't really know what is the best channel. So here they created a link for me so that maybe it's useful that people watch this video is interested in Svelte jobs. They want to know how useful it is. So we have a link that including my name as a UTM source, and we see how it goes, right? So if you're interested, go for click the link and things like that. I don't earn anything by with the link itself. Okay, you can click or not click. It's up to you. But of course, one thing to also, I remember one thing that I need to also tell you is that it's not just for looking for jobs. If you want to post a job, you should go Svelte jobs as well, right? Um, yep, that's it. Anyway, let's get back over here. I think we have our context, and I'm gonna call the first. When you call set context, you need pass your name of the context. In this case, I'm gonna call it a switch, and then maybe an object of information. So here I am going to have, say, let's see. Um, I am going to have what? Ah, okay. So that's the question. What do I gonna have it here? So here we have a switch component. I mean, while we are doing a refactoring, let me open it up fully. Okay, so here I have switch, and I have my page. So active cell, I think yes, this needs to be put up. And the type definition itself, I feel like we should now, it's time for us to create a file just for type definition. We call it types. I'm gonna move this over here. I'm gonna import. And then for this data, we're gonna move it up to the page. So here we are going to have we'll have a active cell called this one. It's the same object, but to make it reactive, and you can change. So data in context, when you pass it down, when you're trying to change anything from the context after you read it out, you want to change anything, modify it, mutate it, um, you can, but it's not reactive. Okay, so you pass an object down, you can mutate it, and if you check the content of the context from somewhere else, you can see it's updated, but it's not reactive. So meaning any other components change it, you won't be receive notification, or your component itself won't update based on that. So if you want to have this reactivity from one component to another component, like changing from one place and have it updated on other components, you will have to use a store. Context is more for you to decide where this information is getting, right? Whether you import it from a file or you get it from a context. But for reactivity, you still need a store. If you want a reactivity across two components, you need a store. So I'm gonna turn this into a store. So I'm gonna call it writable. I'm gonna make it a writable store. Plus, I have to import writable first. So I'm gonna import writable store. This is my writable store. And now I'm gonna read this from the context suite. I have my active cell, and of course get context. Okay, so now the active cell itself is a star now. Previously it's an object, now it's a star. So I need to go to all the places where we update it. We're gonna use a dollar syntax to refer to the value of the star rather than the star instance itself. So here I'm gonna use dollar, 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 dollar. Um, this is the dollar, whoops, dollar, dollar, dollar. Again, here. I think that's it. Let's see. Okay, now as what you would expect when you make big changes, you get error. Ah, okay. Right, writable, writable. Right. So I think it's still working. Everything is still working fine. So now since this value is a star, now we can also display the value over here. But before that, I think we also should move um, the suite, this, which is the sheet itself, as a from the context as well. So I'm gonna move this thing over here. Um, suite. So these two value, I'm gonna define it over here now, and I am going to um, hold on. We have the suite here. So now we create. Yeah, we have. I think we should pass it down from the top because later on we also need to get um, this fit. I think I'm gonna call it the current fit because in future we might have multiple suites, right? You have different tabs at the bottom, like 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 this different tabs. They are different suites. So here right now we're gonna show the only the current suite, um, and I don't and I don't think it's okay. Let's leave it like this first. Okay, we create a suite, and then this is the current suite. So here we're gonna show the current suite. So the current suite is from the context, and I'm gonna just assign this for now as the current suite. Maybe use a I I think let's not complicate it for now. And just call it a suite, which is the current suite. And um and the suite itself, when you call create suite, we need to import this function. Right? We need to get this from here. And then um and then you see that we are relying on a variable called number of columns, right? Where how do we pass this down? Well, we can pass it as part of the context as well, or I mean, this should be defined based on the suite that we just create. And it should be part of it. So let's take a look at the create suite, we can return them as, oh, this is row and column. Okay. Hey, no, hold on. Create suite. Create suite. Number of rows, number of columns. Suites is a map of. Okay. I think we should change this a bit. Now this should be a object that has the number of rows, number of columns, and the suite itself. So I'm going to change this, looks like this. Now this makes more sense now. Here we have the number of rows, number of columns, and the suites. Okay. So I think after all the changes, everything should still be the same. Okay. The only thing that we have done so far, all this shifting and stuff, is that previously all the data, like the suite and the current um, active cell, the active cell is falls within this suite component, this table. But um, but now we move it up to the whole page. This is so that we in this all the, like, say, the top bar, bottom bar, formula bar, everything else can access the current index as well as the content of the suites, right? This is useful because also in future, I mean, this is not just useful for us to display the formula and the value over here. It's also useful in some cases when you do undo and redo. You should have access to the suite to perform that action. Or maybe in some cases you will realize that, say for example, if you insert a row, sorry, like if you try to form, let me find, like if you try to freeze a cell, it actually shows you extra. It shows in a menu item that based on which cells you are, right? So if you're at row 12, then here it actually says freeze up to row 12. So all the things up here should also have access to the suite as well as the current index. Okay, um so that's why we move this up to the page level, right? So we do some massaging a bit, we change a bit our code, and we verify it. It seems like it's, hold on. Is there an error? What? Let me look at the console. Okay, I don't think there's an error. Okay, so now we've moved it up to the page component. Now it's time for us to go back to our formula bar and then display the value, display the current active cell. So we're gonna read this value from the context. So we're gonna get context from Svelte. And then we are going to get the, what is it called? The active cell. Okay, active cell equals to get context, suite. And this is a star. And then here in our inputs, we can say the value is equals to active cell dot. Okay, I think we need to get some help with this suites util. I call what's that? Get column name and row index. Import from suite, and here active cell if cell, let's see, column and row. Okay, so the column plus active cell row, and we get column name based on the column and get row index based on the row. Save this. Hold on. Does this file exist? Does it not? Oh no, there's a different level. Save this. And then, hold on. Yes. This should be a star. Should be a star. Okay, so now we are at D5. So if you move here, you see that it changes value. Okay. Now, of course, it should work the other way around. Say, for example, if you move, it changes. And you come over here and try to say change it to say D 20 and hit enter, and then now it jumps to D20. Um, so we should add the on um, change handler on address change. Current target value. So here, let's see. I mean, we added this, so let's see whether it works. So here, when I change to a 10 and we enter, then when I hit enter, then you see E10, right? If you try to change to E 30, then if you hit enter, then it changed to E30. Because now we get this, but we need to translate it and then update our active cell. So, so first of all, this is the new address. Oops, this value. Okay, and then next is we need to figure out how to get the column part and then the uh, row part. So nice thing is that the column is always alphabets, so we can maybe use some regular expressions to parse it out. So the first part is A to Z, and let's make it case insensitive, and then this can be any number, and then this one is 0 to 9, and however many numbers as well. So this one, we have this regular expression, and then we need to match. One should be new address dot match. Okay, so here we get our match. So let's see what we get with our match. So here, if I try to say E20 and I hit enter, then you see that the first capture group is E, and then the second capture group is 20. I can change this to say AZ313, enter, then the first capture group gets all the alphabets AZ, and then the second one gets all the numbers, right? So it's 313. And we should make it a start with and end with as well. Right? So meaning if you try to do something funny, like say for example, 00 AB 00, then this should not match anything at all, right? This should match. If it matches, then we do something on it. So then we are going to change this to let's see, we're gonna reverse and figure out what's the active cell value should be, right? The row and the column. The row, so the first part is the column, right? So I think here we have the get column name. Where's not this one? Right here we have a get column name and get row index. And now I'm going to create two more functions called from column name and from row index. This should gives us number from string. Okay, so for row index, what we do is we convert it back to number and then we minus one, right? Previously we plus one, now we minus one. For this instead, from column name, we are gonna wait, okay. we're gonna get the char code. So it can be any number. I think let's assume it's only one character for now. Then we can say the column char code at 0 minus this one, right? Let's make it, let's result equals to 0. Okay, so we're gonna read character by character, right? So here is we can A, and then we have Z, and then uh E, F, whatever. Okay, you can have multiple characters. So first thing is that um A to Z, there's 26 characters. So which means that um this is a base 26 um number or value, right? Meaning if you hit AA, then this is um this is on a base 26, so meaning that you have 26 plus 1. Okay? The second is uh because it 1 uh times 26 plus 1. Right? If you have AAA, then you will have the 1 times 26 times 26 plus 1. Right? Of course, if you have B, then this is 2. Right? So this is how we're gonna calculate what's the value based on the string. And then to implement this, we can loop through, right? Say for example, now we start, maybe we can start from the left to the right. Sorry, from the right to the left. Then we can say let's uh the index equals to, so from the right, right? So this column length is 3. Then we start from the column dot length minus 1. Right? We start from the second character, right? Because it's 0 base. And then this one index, I'm gonna look until it's while it's greater than 0, and then index minus minus. And then next thing is that from first thing, the like this one is actually like this the second part of the value. We start with 1, and then as we loop through, right, as we start with 1 because we start from the right, and then as we get one more character, we times 26, and then we get another one, we times 26, and then we times 26. And so we're going to call this a multiple or the base. It starts with 1, and then as we loop, we're going to base times equals to 26. Now we have this, so so the index, right? We have the index and the base. This is the base. Let me bracket it out. And now we need this value, right? This value is based on the character, right? And then this value is basically the character of it at that index minus a. Okay, so here we I'll call it a char code. So a char code, and actually this one we can reuse it over here as well. It's the same value no matter how many times you call it. This one, this is the value, and then this is so result gonna add value times the base, and this is the column index, right? The column value from the alphabet A, Z. Right? So here I'm gonna put it in back to our formula bar. It imports the from column name and from row index. And I'm gonna pass it over here from column name and from row index. And the row index is based on the second match, right? So match second, and then this is the first match, match 1. Or I can just put column then row, then mix. It looks nicer if it's 1 and sec 2. Okay, so here, I think we save this. So as we move around, this changes. And then as we change this to say maybe 20, then it shifts down, right? And you can shift even more, like say 30, and then it shifts down even more. And if you try to change this to say F, hold on, this uh, F, say 26, 25, then it jumps to here, right? You can also have Z. Wait, it's not going. Wait, something is wrong with the value. Um, hold on. Z. Why is Z not working? 25. Yes, it is. Um, is it not working for small cap? Okay. It's not working for lower case. I think now we need to make sure that this is always case. And the reason is that when we do our calculation, we assume that we minus from the capital A. We assume it's always a capital letter. So now if I change to small z, then yeah, it works. So yes, it works. Okay, so why on change and not bind, right? So the thing is that right now, this formula bar, this here, um, um, the value you get is being transformed from, like, there's some transformation from the value to this, um there's a transformation from the active cell, like the store, to the value itself. And when you update the when you try to update the inputs again, you need to transform it back to the active cell, right? So there's some sort of transformation happen in between. And for binding, it only works in a very simple case where you set this the value it is, there's no transformation, right? So you can change this value from the outside, or maybe change it from the input itself directly to the value, right? But in this case, when we change the value from the input, we need to make transformation to update back the model. And whenever model changes, we need to transform back into the value, right? So there's a transformation happening. So you can't write it in binding. And the transformation itself is also um, like, it's two different function, right? This function is you transform, you take from the string to an object, and this one is you take the object into the string. So it's like a reverse thing. So now, for now, binding does not you have no way to do transformation when you do binding. So in this case, you can't really do a binding for that. So anyway, now we have this now. I think I saw some weird bug when I tried to type, when I tried to focus on here and try to change it, change the value with the arrow key. It also navigates my my feet, right? So I think we need to go and find where this navigation happening. So here we on key down, we try to move our active cell. I think here we need to check if there's any um, active element, right? Wait, hold on, what's it? Check if check active element is any kind of input, right? Yeah, I think we need to check that, right? So you'll be using if document dot active. Oh, let me console it out first. Console log. if element. I don't have I've seen this, but I haven't really used it before. So let me try and see. Let's take a look at our console. Um, right now the active element is the body, and now the active element is in the inputs. Right. So if the active element is an inputs, then we should stop. We should not allow us to move the cell. Right. So here, if I'm gonna add a util file or maybe a function for now first. Um, if this is active, there's a list of elements that can be active. Right, input text area select button. Okay, is active. Is interactive element active? Is active. Current active element input. So here, document not active element tag name to lowercase. Here I have this new set. So we only do it. We only do it when it's not when the current active element is not an input. Okay, so it's not an input, then we do it. I think this one we can refactor it out. Refactor. What's happening with my VS Code today? It's okay. Let me just create a file quickly. Utils.ts. This over here. And this one can define earlier on. Cons input elements. This one. Save this. Yep. And then we're going to import this. Input import from util. Okay. Now, if we try and move, it works. If we focus here and then remove our arrow key, no, it does not change this, right? Now we can and have fun changing this to maybe A4 and enter. Now we jump to that cell, right? And as we leave our focus from this thing, and as we try and move our arrow, then now we can continue moving our arrows. And I realized that here, once you hit enter, it loses focus. So I think we should do that as well. Let's see, in our formula bar here, we should make it lose focus as well. Events are current target blur, right? I think it's blur. If I change to 4, sorry, 3, as I hit enter, right? So here's my finger, right? As I hit enter, loses focus and jumps to this position, and now I can move my arrow key up and down, and it's working. Cool. So here, I think here, if you look at what happens if you try to hit something wrong? Then it says an error. The name given to this range is invalid. Okay, resets back to the value, right? I think we can do similar thing as well. So here, else alert. We will have a better alert now later on, but now we can copy this the error, okay. And then maybe we set active cell back to its value. Let's see whether that works. If I change to something and hit enter, the name is given to this range is invalid. Okay. Oh no, this does not. This now how do I change the value back? This is a good question. I thought this would work, but this doesn't seem to work. Whether if I change, oh no, I don't think that works anyway. That does not change. So somehow updating the value does not trigger this value to compute and updates a new value to the active cell. Right. And even we do this, no change. So I think we have to, this is, so we have to figure a way to, so doing this doesn't update. Okay, because it does not update the value being passed in here, right? So although this probably we still passing in the same value in, we haven't updated back from the on change. We haven't updates this active cell. Okay. So as we change this input, because we're not doing binding, and we only update on change and only updates here. So basically the input value has changed like this, but it's not but the active cell value has not changed, right? So even we force to like updates active cell to a different value, this final value that it calculates is still the same, and therefore it does not updates the value attribute uh, of the inputs from Svelte, because Svelte realized that these two values are still the same. So yeah, so one thing we could do is that we can maybe manually update it. I guess. So here is the event the current target the value. Let's just reset it back. For now. So there's a caching between the calculating of the value and then updating the value. So if it calculates it's the same and then it try to updates, I think it probably does not try to set the value again because the cache value that we used to set previously is still the same. Anyway, so here current value. Let's try to just do this and see. And we manually modify the value of the DOM element, right? So here change to C, enter, valid. Okay, we set it back, and then good thing is also here we do a blur. Is it a good thing? Wait, let me check. Okay. Now we still focus back. Okay, so here the blur should only happens when we get a match. Here we see enter, okay, and then we come back here again. Wait, hold on, I feel like it's a bit, and then it's fully selected, right? So here I think what we can do is we can event.current selection, they call a selection, input element selection. Oh, hold on. Set selection range. Okay, yep, this one. This is the one that we're looking for. range from 0 to length. So I'm gonna maybe keep this as a value for now. And this value and then value the length. Okay, so here enter, okay, and then fully selected. Right. So here I think okay, right, valid range, okay, and then jump back. Okay, so I think here there's actually more validation that you need to do. For example, what happens if you key in say 2000, then this basically go out of your range of the speed. And if you try it here, say for example, then again exceeds the sheet size. This is something that we'll need to check as well. Right. So here I leave it to you as an exercise. You can try it out. Here, maybe modify something and figure out how to handle that case. Right. So now spend quite some time figuring out this part. Let's also go and update this value over here as well. So now we have the formula bar. This part we are going to say a, let's see, divider formula. Okay, here. So here we are going to display the cell of the current index. Okay, okay. So value again, this one. Let me, I think this one we can do some binding because the change you modify it's the same thing. Okay, so we need to find out the formula. What is the formula? So for formula, we reactively declared this one formula is based on, first of all, we have this feed as well. Get, what's it called? Cell name, column name plus row index. Okay. It's this too. So I think this one we can take it out. Cell name equals to this one. This one is equals to cell name. This is a cell, and then for the cell, what you display is the editing mode, right? Displays the edit value, and edit value is the cell.formula. Cell.formula. Formula. This one, and this is a store. So I'm gonna say like this. Oh, hold on, not working. Oh, okay. I need to check here. Rate properties fit off. Hold on. Get context. Here our page has the current speed. Okay. No value at all. Right here we can change. Say for example, hold on. Oh, yeah. As we type, here we also need to trigger the update of the. So remember when we update here, double click and then we say, for example, equals to E6, and we hit enter. We basically trigger call a method of this whole cell to do something for us so that we can um, updates the the preview value, right? And we should do the same thing as well over here, where as we type, say for example here, and we change this to E5, when we hit enter, it should update. We should call that method as well, right? So here is like when you do something, hit, it should, okay, here when you hit enter, it should go to the next cell and then update this thing. Okay, so a few things to do, right? So so I guess let's go to the on enter, on on on, we call on enter, and key down, and then it's enter, and then we do something. Okay, on key down, and then we call finish editing, finish editing, finish editing. In this case, the formula call stop editing. Okay, and then we also need to move our cell down by one. So here we're gonna say maybe active cell equals to it's the same column but a different row, right? So here is the row. That's one. Let's come back and see. Fresh. Hold on. What's wrong? Lang goes to TS. So here, we type something. Hit enter. I do it too fast. Okay, so here, I think, yeah, a few things to take note as well. Okay, so here when I type something, and if I hit enter, I need to save edit thing so that it will update the cell, and then also move my active cell down, right? Yep, that's what I need. So here basically I think it's quite nice, right? So now of course we need to as we type and as we hover away, basically when this input lose focus, we also needs to update something, right? So here as we type something, as we lose focus, this should also save the value. So here as we lose focus, I'm gonna call on blur. And we should also call finish editing true. Then in this case, I think this one we should put it here. Escape key. Do we handle escape key? Oh yeah, okay. Then escape key should not move the cell down. Right. So here let me come back. If I type something and leave, it should, yeah. If I type something and I click, I should come here and this updates. And if I try to type something and I lose focus, and if I click escape, then should not do anything. Hey, hold on, this updates. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, because this will call the finish editing true. Finish editing false. So let's see what's the stop editing implementation. Okay, here. I think here we need to also update the formula value to the last saved formula value. I think, yeah. Okay, I think it's that. If I change something, escape, leave away, yeah. Because previously we keep track of we this value is still keeping the change value, and then even if we stop editing with a false, we didn't reset this value back. So then if you try to stop editing, true again when it's actually save that value. So now we reset it back to whatever the last save formula value is, like this, and now we can see that a yeah, when we blur, we can finish editing. When we blur, finish editing and update this as well. So let me nicely format the code. I think we've done quite a lot today. Um, um, and I think I think that's it for today. We have done quite a lot. Managed to change this for this address to say something, and then we jump to it. And if we move our cell, then we can see that it's updating as well. And as we move to a cell that has value, you can see this formula over here. We try to say here equals to D3, and we hit enter, then you see this value. And also this works when you come here equals to these 6 and then hit enter, then this will work as well. And now if we come here and try to change this value, and then this alt updates as well. So of course this does not look nice when it does not grow and stuff like that. So I think the next thing is we need to see how we can improve the cell editing experience and the display experience. For example, if you go in and then if it's a formula, I mean if it's a text, you can't really see much except from here. That's not that nice. And it should grow. And then also as we move around our to a different cell, if you use Google Sheet for a while, you should know if you try to hit key in immediately, it should update directly, and that is not happening right now. So that's something we need to update as well. So that's all. That's some of the things that we can improve on in the coming weeks. But the next week I will not be around, um so I will see you in the next week. Okay. I'll post the link for the Svelte Weekend on. I will schedule the Svelte Weekend live stream um so that you know when is it, right? So that's it for today, and see ya. Bye bye. Thank you for coming.